China and Japan are facing off. It's been more than a month now. They've been locked in a tense standoff, and now the dispute has escalated. It has spilled into the high seas.
Japan didn't fire a missile. China didn't move a warship. But somehow, the situation just got worse. Not because of a military miscalculation, but because of something far quieter. Money, materials, and pressure. After Japan said a Chinese attack on Taiwan would be a survival-threatening situation, Beijing reacted instantly. Flights canceled, imports suspended, markets shaken. Japan's economy, already struggling, took another hit. But here's the twist almost no one is talking about. Japan actually holds a kind of power China can't easily match. Not military, economic, structural, and deeply embedded in the global tech supply chain. This is the story behind the headlines. The silent economic war shaping Asia's future. The statement that triggered everything. Japan's prime minister used a legal phrase that changed everything. Survival-threatening situation. It means one thing. If Taiwan is attacked, Japan may treat it as an attack on itself. For China, that was a red line. Beijing fired back with words Japan hasn't heard in decades. Shocking. A wrong signal. We will re-examine Japan's historical crimes. Diplomacy froze instantly. But the real impact came from economic retaliation. Japan's response, not military, but systemic. Yes, Japan is strengthening its military. But the real counterstrike isn't missiles. It's something far quieter. Japan controls the materials China needs for semiconductor manufacturing. In your competitor transcripts, this is described as the part almost no one talks about. China manufactures chips, but it relies heavily on photoresist, ultra-pure chemicals, silicon wafer materials, and Japan is one of the world's top suppliers of these. These materials can't be stockpiled for years. Factories use them constantly. Once they run out, production stops. So while China can hurt Japan today with tourism, Japan could hurt China's tech industry tomorrow. It's not a weapon either side wants to use, but both sides know it exists. China's first strike, tourism and trade. Within days, over 500,000 Chinese flight bookings to Japan vanished. Flights were cut into March next year, including Lunar New Year, the busiest season. China suspended Japanese seafood and beef imports. Japanese stocks in tourism and retail sank instantly. And it hit hard because Japan's economy was already weak. GDP shrinking, wages, falling debt at historic highs. To China, this pressure was a warning. Walk back your statement or pay the price. But Japan didn't walk back anything. Instead, it doubled down. The real geopolitical game. Choke points. This is where the story moves from news to geopolitics. China can hurt Japan with tourists, bans, and market pressure, but Japan holds semiconductor choke points, high-end manufacturing, critical materials, and specialized machinery. Both countries have something the other needs. Both can cause damage. Neither wants to be the first to break the system. This is the new reality. A silent economic war where pressure matters more than firepower. The global consequences. While this looks like a Japan-China problem, the impact goes far beyond Asia. If tourism collapses, if supply chains shift, if technology production slows, the world will feel it. Electronics get more expensive. Manufacturing timelines get longer. Companies are forced to choose sides. Countries rethink their alliances. China and Japan are not small players. Together, they make up a massive part of global trade, global technology, and global investment. So when these two giants start applying pressure, quietly, that pressure travels worldwide. What begins as a regional standoff becomes a global economic ripple, affecting everything from smartphones to shipping lanes. This isn't just about China versus Japan. It's about how fragile the world's economic system really is when two major powers collide. What happens next? Your sources point to three clear futures. Scenario 1. A cold tension. Both sides keep trading, but diplomacy freezes. This becomes the new normal. Scenario 2. Economic decoupling. China limits Japanese imports and companies. Japan shifts supply chains out of China. Slow, painful, irreversible separation. Scenario 3. Flashpoint. A drone, ship, or jet incident triggers a sudden crisis. Not intentional, just miscalculation. No matter which path happens, one thing is certain. The relationship has changed. Neither side trusts the other like before. China's second strike. Pressure on Japanese companies. China didn't stop at tourism. Beijing turned up pressure on the 31,000-plus Japanese companies operating in China. Sudden inspections, customs delays, fines, audits, and arrests of Japanese executives. The message is simple. If your government challenges us, your businesses will feel it. This strategy is powerful because Japanese firms depend heavily on China's market. But there's a risk. Japan could respond by shifting its supply chains faster, reducing dependency, and aligning more tightly with the US, South Korea, and Taiwan. In other words, China's economic pressure could push Japan even further away. The lesson of modern power. This crisis reveals something important about our world today. Power is no longer just tanks, missiles, or warships. It's supply chains, it's materials, it's markets, it's dependency. China showed it can hurt Japan instantly by closing its skies, closing its ports, and closing its wallets. Japan showed it can hurt China quietly by controlling the materials that make modern technology possible. Two different forms of power, both dangerous, both effective, and neither side wants to break the system, but neither side wants to lose. This is the new face of geopolitics, a world where economic pressure becomes the battlefield, where trade becomes a weapon, and where the quiet moves matter more than the loud ones.